Imagine an institution so powerful it could rewrite a nation's destiny, often in silence, but always with profound world-shaking impact. For 75 years, the Supreme Court of India has been that unseen, unshakable force at the very heart of our republic. This is the Supreme Court's secret history, how its most pivotal judgments, from cautious beginnings to explosive expansions of liberty, haven't just interpreted the Constitution, but have fundamentally reshaped the very fabric of India and your daily life. Before we dive deep into Supreme Court of India's journey, hit the subscribe button, and if you like the historic decisions of Supreme Court, share your thoughts in the comments section below. When the Republic of India was born in 1950, it was built on the sacred promise of a new constitution, a text overflowing with the ideals of liberty, equality, and justice. The Supreme Court was created to be its ultimate guardian. In its early years, however, the court stepped onto the national stage with extreme caution, choosing a path of literal, almost rigid interpretation. This careful approach was cast in stone in the shocking 1950 case of A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras. The petitioner, a detained communist leader, claimed his fundamental right to life and liberty had been violated. In a verdict that would echo for decades, the Supreme Court took a narrow, defeatist view. It ruled that as long as a procedure established by law was followed, personal liberty could be curtailed. This meant the court would not dare question the fairness or justice of the law itself, only if the government had checked the right boxes. This judgment powerfully deferred to Parliament's legislative authority, effectively limiting the protective shield of fundamental rights. Yet, even in this cautious era, sparks of judicial fire appeared. That same year, in Romesh Thapar versus State of Madras, the court championed a free press, declaring that freedom of speech was the very foundation of democracy. This case set the stage for a defining tension in India's story: the tug-of-war between the power of Parliament and the court's duty as the guardian of citizens' rights. The first battle lines were drawn in cases like Shankari Prasad versus Union of India in 1951, where the court upheld Parliament's power to amend fundamental rights, a decision that lit the fuse for one of the greatest constitutional showdowns in Indian history. For the next 2 decades, a quiet constitutional war simmered between Parliament and the judiciary. Determined to push its socialist agenda, Parliament passed amendment after amendment, aggressively chipping away at fundamental rights, particularly the right to property. The Supreme Court, sensing a shift in the balance of power, began to push back. This simmering conflict finally erupted in 1973, in a legal battle that would permanently redraw the lines of power in India. Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. So far, if you like the video, share your thoughts and hype it. On the surface, the case was about a religious monastery's property rights, but it quickly morphed into an epic struggle over the soul of the Indian Constitution. For an unprecedented 68 days, the largest bench ever assembled, 13 judges, weighed a single momentous question: is Parliament's power to amend the Constitution absolute? Could it rewrite or even erase the fundamental rights of the people? The verdict was a masterstroke of judicial wisdom. The court declared that while Parliament could indeed amend the Constitution, it could not touch its basic structure. This basic structure is the Constitution's unshakable core, the pillars of democracy, secularism, federalism, and fundamental rights. This doctrine was a brilliant judicial innovation, not written in the Constitution's text, but drawn from its very spirit. With this single judgment, the Supreme Court positioned itself as the final protector of the Constitution, an eternal safeguard against any branch of government that dared to overstep. Game over. If Kesavananda Bharati built the fortress walls to protect the Constitution, the Maneka Gandhi case in 1978 threw open the gates, unleashing a revolution in individual liberty. When Maneka Gandhi's passport was seized by the government without explanation, her challenge forced the Supreme Court to confront its own 28-year-old ghost from the A.K. Gopalan case. The court's shift was seismic. In a revolutionary reinterpretation of Article 21, the right to life and personal liberty, the judges shattered their old reasoning. They declared that the procedure established by law could no longer be any procedure. It had to be just, fair, and reasonable. If you like the video, share your thoughts and don't forget to subscribe to Kanoonplus. The impact was profound. This single ruling breathed new life into Article 21, transforming it from a simple shield against illegal detention into a wellspring of human rights. The court reasoned that the right to life was not about mere animal existence. It was the right to live with human dignity. From this expansive idea, a universe of new rights was born, recognized by the judiciary even without being written in the Constitution. These include the right to travel, the right to a clean environment, the right to education, and the right to a livelihood. This bold stance was cemented in Minerva Mills versus Union of India in 1980, where the court not only defended the basic structure doctrine, but declared that the power of judicial review was itself part of that untouchable core. Armed with an empowered Article 21 and the powerful tool of public interest litigation, PIL, the Supreme Court in the 80s and 90s transformed into the nation's conscience in action. It began to intervene directly on behalf of the poor, the marginalized, and the forgotten. A defining moment was the 1985 Shah Bano Begum case. Shah Bano, a 62-year-old divorced Muslim woman, was denied maintenance by her ex-husband. The Supreme Court upheld her right to alimony under India's secular laws, igniting a fierce national debate on gender justice, secularism, and religious personal laws. The court's focus on gender equality intensified. In 1997, confronting the scourge of sexual harassment at work in Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan, the court saw a gaping hole in the law. It boldly stepped into this legal vacuum, crafting the landmark Vishaka Guidelines from scratch. These directives made employers responsible for ensuring a safe workplace for women, a powerful instance of the judiciary legislating to protect the fundamental right to live with dignity. The court also waded into the complex waters of affirmative action. In the 1992 Indra Sawhney case, it upheld reservations for other backward classes, OBCs, in government jobs. Simultaneously, it introduced the creamy layer concept, a mechanism to exclude the most privileged members of those classes, attempting to strike a delicate balance between social equity and individual merit. As India hurtled into the 21st century, the Supreme Court didn't just keep pace, it began to chart the course, recognizing entirely new rights for a new India. This era saw the court go beyond merely protecting rights to creating them. So far, if you like the video, share your thoughts and hype it. In 2017, the Justice K.S. Puttaswamy judgment became a watershed moment. The court declared the right to privacy a fundamental right, an intrinsic part of the right to life and personal liberty under Article 21. This decision sent shockwaves through the nation, shaping everything from the Aadhaar biometric program to data protection laws. This focus on individual dignity drove another transformative judgment in 2018. In Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, the court corrected a deep historical injustice by decriminalizing consensual same-sex relations. It struck down parts of Section 377, a colonial-era law, in a powerful affirmation of the rights to equality, dignity, and privacy for all LGBTQ+ Indians. Gender justice saw another monumental victory in 2017 with the Bano case. Here, the court declared the practice of instant triple talaq, talaq-e-bidat, unconstitutional, finding it arbitrary, discriminatory, and a violation of the fundamental rights of Muslim women. The journey is far from over. The last 5 years have pushed the very frontiers of fundamental rights, proving the court's work is a living, breathing process. The court has ventured into new territory, linking constitutional rights to the most urgent challenges of our time. In Common Cause versus Union of India, 2018, it recognized the right to die with dignity as an element of the right to life, permitting passive euthanasia through living wills. The court continued to sculpt the narrative of affirmative action, upholding the 10% reservation for economically weaker sections, EWS, in the Janhit Abhiyan case of 2022. More recently, in a landmark 2024 ruling, the court declared that the right to be free from the adverse effects of climate change is a distinct fundamental right, flowing from the right to life and equality. That same year, it reinforced democratic integrity by striking down the anonymous electoral bond scheme as a violation of the citizens' fundamental right to information. As we look to 2025 and beyond, the court is poised to tackle the next wave of challenges, constantly redrawing the sacred line between the state and its citizens. From guarding nascent liberties to pioneering new human rights, the Supreme Court's 75-year journey is a testament to judicial evolution. It's transformed from a mere interpreter of law into the ultimate guardian of our Constitution and the fiercest protector of your fundamental rights. Every landmark judgment, from Kesavananda Bharati to the right to privacy, hasn't just been a legal decision. It's been a defining moment for over 1 billion lives. What do you think is the most impactful Supreme Court judgment in India's history? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And for more deep dives into Indian polity and constitutional law that truly impact you, make sure to like this video and smash that subscribe button to Kanoonplus. Don't miss our next chapter. Let's go!